Everybody, how y'all doing? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tay, and the name of my channel is called Inspire Me, where I talk about events or topics all from a godly perspective. And today's topic is called, do you really want to be a Solomon? Now, anybody that's familiar with the Bible, they know about Solomon, the book of Solomon. Well, it's actually coming from the book of First Kings. Chapter 3 explains it perfectly how Solomon was a man of wisdom. He was going to be the king of his land, and he wanted to govern them with righteousness. He wanted to know what he was doing. He didn't want to be clueless. So with that being said, God petitioned him, asked him, what do you want out of anything in this world? What do you want? And many people, if God come to you and asking you, what do you want? People gonna be like, ooh, I want to win the lottery. Can I win the lottery? Can I get a lot of money? We about to be in 2019. Can I have a 2019 car? Can I have a big house, a mansion? Ooh, can I just pretty much anything. We think about worldly materials and can I have long life? Can I have for me and my family not to ever get sick? But Solomon didn't have that mind state at first. Well, he didn't have that mindset at all. He told God, please bless me with wisdom to be able to govern properly, to be able to rule properly. And God, by hearing that request from Solomon, he was so touched in his heart. He was like, not only am I going to give you understanding and wisdom, but I'm going to give you pretty much everything that you did not ask for. So I'm going to give you riches. I'm going to give you fame. I'm going to give you honor. So his first case, Solomon's first case, there were these two harlots. For anybody who don't know what a harlot is, that's a whore, or in other words, a hoe. So there was these two harlots. They both had a child apiece. So one of the harlots' child died while they were asleep. So she took out her dead child and swapped him with the other harlot who child was living. So when the other harlot woke up, she was like, "This is not my child." And they both was going back and forth, no, this is my child, this is my child, no, this is my child. So they presented their case to King Solomon. And by King Solomon having wisdom, he was able to govern accordingly, using his wisdom. So he said, what I'm going to do with this baby, since both of y'all are bickering about it, I'm going to cut it in half. So one part could be to one of the ladies, and the other part could be for the other lady. So by the real mother hearing that, she was like, oh, no, let's let her go ahead and have them. She don't want to see her child cut in half. You already know if you cut a child, or you even cut anybody in half, they're going to die. So she don't want to see her child dead. So she was like, you know what, it's not even worth it, just let her have the child. So the other harlot who child died, she was like, it don't matter to me, you can get a child. And then I guess by Solomon hearing that, he already knew who the real mother was. So that was known around his whole land, wow, he really exhorted his wisdom. So when I first heard this story, I was like, wow, I want to be a Solomon. He is really the man. He is good. I really wanted to be Solomon. So from chapters 1 through 8, he was pretty much doing it up, knowing God's will and everything. So as you read, through chapters 1 through 10, he was pretty much doing it up. So chapter 11, as I kept reading, that's one thing I do like about God too. Everything he tells you up front. Nothing is a surprise. Even with this world, we can actually tell that we're living in the last evil days. It's so much stuff that's going on that the Bible tells us. It's not oh, wow, I didn't know. You can't say that because God already done told you. So God told Solomon before it even happened. It said in the Bible, Solomon loved many different women. Most people today, they might Brazilian women, Caucasians, African Americans, island women, just anybody, just women, Japanese, Chinese, you feel me? Just anybody that look good. So that's what Solomon's problem was. He just loved strange women, and God told him up front, like, do not fall into these women traps, or don't get involved with these women, because they're going to turn your heart from me. So Solomon, being a man, not being covered under the blood, actually did the opposite of what God said. And okay, if you read the Bible, it says he had about 700 wives. I don't know how many concubines. Like, that wasn't enough for you, bro. You had to have more. Like, I'm so glad times changed and we were saved by God, Jesus Christ, and we only have one spouse, because how I'm set up, like, I don't like to share when it comes to men. Like, I understand about sharing your food, sharing your clothes, sharing your toys. I know about all that. I don't have a problem with that. But sharing my husband, like, that's not going to happen. I don't like to share my husband. So, by Solomon, like, having so many wives and just loving so many women, like, that was his downfall. So, like I said, as you read later on, chapter 11, like, the women actually turned his heart from God, and you see, like, it says Solomon did evil in God's eyesight. He wasn't no longer known as the man of wisdom and just so pure and honorable. Like, he did evil in God's eyesight. So, like, with me, I don't, like, you have to think about for yourself, like, do you actually want to be a Solomon, like, living your whole life doing good, but then at the end, it's like you doing bad? It's a perfect example. Like, say you've been in this world for 49 years, and for 49 years straight, you served God, you witnessed, you did, like, everything right in God's eyesight, and then when you get 50 for 1 year or whatever, even for 1 day, for 1 hour, and you say, man, I'm just going to, just test the waters, or just go out and just, it ain't nothing wrong with sin. I've been living good for 49 years. God don't really mind. He don't care. And then you actually die. You died of your sin. You already know where people going at who die in their sin. It don't matter if you did good for 49 years and you did bad for a couple of hours, couple of minutes. That don't matter. Like I say, 99 and a half simply won't do. God don't care about that. In his word, I think it's Matthew 25 and 23. It says, depart from me, you workers of iniquity. I never knew you. That's saying, like, if you live your whole life doing God's will, and it's one time you step out, like, all that good stuff you did, it doesn't matter. Like, God considers you like a worker of iniquity. Iniquity means sin. You did sin. And another instance, say for instance, if you live your whole 49 years sinful, you didn't repent, you just robbed, you just did all types of evilness, and then, like, God just touched your heart, and you're like, you know what, I don't want to live this lifestyle no more. Like, I know there's something better out there for me. I don't have to live like this. God got something good for me, and I want to desire God, and I want him to change my heart. God sees that request and hears that request, and you thinking a person might just, because they live 49 years sinful, then they might go to hell. No. God's going to actually touch your heart and allow you to go to heaven. So I say, like, you have to be careful what you're doing. Like, even when Jesus was nailed to the cross and he was about to die, it was two sinners on each side, one on the left and one on the right. I don't know which one it was, the one on the left or the right, but he asked God, like Jesus, he was like, please remember me when you die. Meaning, like, when I die as well for my sin, like, I know I'm a sinner. I know I did what was wrong. I know I'm on this cross for a reason. I sinned. But God, please, please, just allow me to go to heaven. Don't forget me. Like, he know in his heart. Like, even with King David, I'm pretty sure you know about King David. Like, King David was not perfect. He caused a man to die. He committed adultery, like, he had sex with another man's wife, and then had her pregnant. David did a couple of stuff that was bad, but at the end of the day, like, he had a pure heart. a repentant heart. Like, he was so truthful with God. Was like, yeah, I know I sinned, God, but please forgive me. Please help me. Like, David was real with God, and God, like, honored that. So David did what was pleasing to God's eyesight. Like I said, Solomon started off doing what was right, but he ended off doing what was bad. So you have to ask yourself, do you really want to be a Solomon? I know I don't. I want to be like Christ. I don't want to be like anybody in the Bible. They could have been perfect. If they're not like Jesus Christ, if they're not Jesus Christ, then I don't want no parts of it. So that's just my message. Please share. A lot of people need to hear exactly this message. If you're thinking like Solomon, okay, I want to be a Solomon, but like I said, the first beginning of his life, he did do what was right. He did do what was pleasing, but the end of his lifestyle, he didn't do what was right. He did what was evil in God's eyesight. So just make sure you know exactly what you're saying. All right now.